Hi, I'm KirlySue and welcome to KirlySue's Kitchen, and today I'm answering your questions that I have been asked right across my social media. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and obviously YouTube. So today I'm answering questions. If you're live online and watching this and you have a question, please by all means put it into the comments section. Let me see if I can access it, and I will be more than happy to answer your questions. So first of all, let me see if I can try and find see if I can see you. Yeah. Anyway, let me answer the questions. So my first question that I've got is it hard to be vegan? Well, before I was a vegan, I was a vegetarian and I was a dairy avoider. So making the switch from vegetarian to vegan for me wasn't very hard because I wasn't having much dairy anyway. For those of you watching who are new to veganism, a vegan is somebody who eats no meat, no fish, no dairy, no eggs, and no honey. So when I was a vegetarian, I did have dairy, but not very much. So making the switch, it wasn't a big problem for me at all. So my answer to the question, is it hard to be vegan? I don't think so. Hello, Elvina Lee. Which vegan book did you find really helped? The vegan book that I find really helped is a number of them. The first one that helped me to become a vegan was called The China Study. And that one basically told me a bit about a gentleman who he grew up on a dairy farm, and he did some research. Basically, the China Study is research that's been done over a 20-year period in rural China. And the reason they use that area is because they have the same group of people who've been living there for hundreds of years. So it's kind of like a really convenient, controlled study. So what they found is they wanted to find out is why they are so healthy, and the conclusion they came to is because they basically have a vegan diet. So the China Study, first of all, was a good book for me. Another one was Back to Eden. That's another book by Jethro Kloss spelled Kloss. That was a really good book. That's really helpful. It's got lots of recipes at the back. You have to tweak them a bit. The recipes are quite traditional, so you might have to kind of tweak them for your taste. And the book has lots of plants and herbs and how to use them and so forth, and tells you about how to be healthy. So Back to Eden, The China Study, and one other book is just getting lots of really great cookbooks as well, really simple ones to use. So thank you for your question, Elvina. The next question I have is, where do you get your protein? I always get asked this question so many times, and protein doesn't just come from meat and eggs and so forth. You get protein from nuts and lots of other sources as well. So it's not really a huge challenge to get protein. You get protein in kidney beans, you have it in lentils and so forth. So it's actually easier than people think to get protein. It's really not difficult at all. So thank you for that question. Another one, next question is, I only eat free range egg. That's okay, right? Okay. Even if the eggs are free range, it's still an egg. So it's better than the non-free range eggs, but an egg is an egg, and it still has the effect on the body that you possibly don't want. And it isn't vegan. Eggs are not vegan. So yeah. Next question, is it expensive to be vegan? This is another question I get asked quite a lot, and my response is meat and fish are more expensive than fruit and veg. So I'm not sure why people think that it's expensive to be a vegan. I'm not sure why people think that at all. But what I think might be the challenge is vegans tend to be more selective about what we eat, so therefore we don't usually, we're quite particular about what we eat, so we tend to go for the more expensive or better quality food. So maybe that is why some people feel that it's expensive. And some vegan companies are small companies, so therefore it's much more expensive as well. So that could be possibly one of the appears to be, but it doesn't have to be at all. It says, I could never be vegan. I love the taste of meat too much. Okay, I guess that isn't vegan, but there you go. Next question, doesn't the Bible endorse eating animals? The Bible does endorse eating animals, but it only endorses certain type of animals, but it also doesn't say you have to eat animals. So just because the Bible endorses it, there's nothing in the Bible that I'm aware of that says thou must eat animals. That's just not it. Next question, haven't we evolved to eat meat? It's natural. Well, you could argue that about many different things, but at the end of the day, I'm not really here to debate about whether you should eat meat or not. The choice is down to the individual. I'm just saying that I don't eat meat and I choose to be a vegan. So what you choose to do, it's entirely up to you. Next question, what's wrong with honey? There's nothing wrong with honey. Honey is not vegan because, well, most vegans won't have honey because it's still a product that comes from an animal. So therefore it isn't vegan, but I don't condemn anyone who has honey. It's their choice. It's what they want to do. So honey, you don't have to have it, but you can't, if you do have it, it's not usually classed as vegan at all. So nothing wrong with it per se, but if you're saying you're vegan, you can't really have honey. Next question, and again, if you're joining us online and you have a question, feel free to ask the question. I'm more than happy to answer. This is what this Ask KirlySue is all about. Feel free to send me your questions. Okay, we have one from Unicorn Girl. What is your favorite vegan dish? Thank you, Unicorn Girl. I have several, but if it's a savory dish, my favorite is stewed peas and rice. It's a Jamaican dish. It's kidney beans cooked in coconut milk with spices, and it's really, really tasty, and it's so cheap and easy to make, and it's got little dumplings in it as well, and it's usually served with plain rice, and you have that with a side dish of plantains. And for desserts, oh wow, there's so many. Apple, mango and pineapple crumble. I love that. I make that myself. What else do I love to eat? I just love so many things. I love fruit. I'm a fruitaholic. I love fruit. And one of my most favorite fruits is Concord grapes, which when I travel back and forth to the States, you can get them in the States. And one day I hope they have them here in the UK, but so far they do not. So thank you for your question. If you have any more questions and you're online, feel free to ask. Next question. Cows need to be milked, don't they? We're doing them a favor. Again, I don't think it's necessary to have dairy, and there's so many things that tell you why it's not necessarily a good idea. There was just a question and it just went. That question, person just, oh, right, yeah, I just found the question. What would you recommend as a first dish to learn how to make? Thank you, A1 star. I would recommend that you start with something that you like to eat. An easy one is probably breakfast type dishes are usually quite easy to veganize, so you can switch out the milk. But if you want to learn to cook like a meal, I would say you can start with lasagna. You can veganize a lasagna. That's quite easy to do. I would look at a rice dish or a stir fry. Stir fries are very easy. I mean, you just throw it all in. That's a very easy one to do as well. So I hope that answers your question. Any other questions online? Feel free to ask your questions. Just trying to check. They popped up a second ago. All right. Okay, so if you have any more questions, feel free to ask. Other question I have is, you don't have to kill animals to get dairy and eggs, so what's wrong with those products? Again, dairy is responsible for so many allergies and so many health problems that people have. So I personally don't recommend them. I don't condemn people who have them, but if you want to have them, that's entirely up to you. That's not a problem for me, but I wouldn't personally recommend them. So again, if you've got any other questions online, feel free to keep them coming. Other question I have is, how do you replace eggs when you're baking? Well, there's a number of ways you can replace eggs when you're baking. You can use flax seeds, or in some countries they're called linseeds. You blend 1 tablespoon of flaxseed with, you grind the flaxseed first, and then you blend 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed with 2 or 3 tablespoons of water, stir it around and let it sit for about 10 minutes, and then it will kind of go congealed, and then you can use that. You can use applesauce, you can use banana, you can use egg replacer. Let me show you the egg replacer that I have here. This is a great one that I use. It's called Energy Orgran egg replacer. That's good. It's a number of different flours that are in there. So there's that one as well. So again, if you have any more questions, feel free to ask. The other question I get asked quite a lot is, how did you become a vegan? It's quite a long story, but I was a vegetarian, and then I read the China Study. I watched Forks Over Knives, and I also watched Got the Truth About Milk and Vegucated, and then I made the decision 4 years ago to become a vegan. Prior to that, I was a vegetarian for about 20 something years. So let me just check what other questions we've got online. Other one is, do you like tofu? Question is, do I like tofu? Not really, no. When I lived in Thailand, I was more than happy to eat tofu. When tofu is kind of made fresh from countries where tofu is really kind of part of their staple diet and is quite popular, I don't mind it. From like Asian countries, it tends to taste nicer to me. I prefer that one. But in England, I'm not keen on tofu. It is quite a processed dish, so I don't usually tend to have tofu. It's not my favorite thing. Okay. Other question is, what is your favorite vegan restaurant? One of my favorite vegan restaurants in London is Mildred's, and if you come to London, there's I think 2 or 3 in their chain. Mildred's, it's a vegetarian and vegan restaurant, but they have lots of good vegan options. I love Mildred's. The other one I like in London to go to, there's quite a few. For ice cream, there's a vegan ice cream place in central London called Eureka, and that one is really good. It's got quite a few. There's about 12 different flavors or something like that, so it's not bad. You can always find something that you like. And we have another question: when will your book be published, and do you use seitan? Elvina Lee. Hi Elvina. My new book will be out next year. I've just partnered with a publisher who I need to speak to tomorrow. They're publishing money. I've actually got 3 books that are coming out, and the first one will be out next year. I don't know the exact date yet, but as soon as I know, I will do a video about it and let you know. And in terms of seitan, sometimes I use it, not that often. Sometimes I'll buy it and sometimes I'll make it. But in general, with regards to seitan, it can be quite a processed thing, and it's kind of got gluten and stuff in it, so I'm not super keen on it. What Unicorn Girl, hi, what vegan meal promotes good digestion? What vegan meal promotes good digestion? I would say one that contains, I'm not a nutritionist, as a qualified nutritionist, so I just need to make that disclaimer when answering this question. But in terms of digestion, I suppose if it's something that's not heavily processed and something that's more raw food, perhaps. So green leafy vegetables, fruits and things like that, I think are probably better in terms of digestion. So thank you so much for all your questions. Keep it coming. We've got only a few minutes left. You just look at the other questions that I've got here as well. Back to another person's asked, what places do you like to eat in London? There's another bake shop near where I live called Cookies and Scream. I love their cookies. If the bake shop was any closer to my house, I'd be so huge because I'd eat there every single day, but I try to be good. The other place that I like to eat in London, there's just so many places. I did a review on my channel. By the way, don't forget to subscribe to this channel because there's lots of great videos that I've got coming up. Alvina, what is your best vegan snacks, savory and sweet? Savory and sweet snacks. What I usually do is I get one of these that I got. You can get 6 of these from the pound shop, and I fill it up with pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds and raisins, and I usually just stockpile them. So if I'm running out the door or if I'm at home and I just want a quick snack, that's usually really good, and I like those because it's healthy as well. I have tons of fruit. I love grapes. I like nectarines and stuff, so I find snacks really good. The other thing I like in terms of a savory snack is spicy chickpeas. Now, spicy as in seasoned, not peppery. So spicy chickpeas, those are really easy to make. You just throw them in the oven, and that's really easy to do. So again, I hope that answers your question. Thank you, Alvina. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because there's plenty of videos coming out. I'm going to be doing Vlogmas this year in December, so there'll be a video coming out every single day in December. If you have a particular video you'd like me to make, please put it in the comment section below and request it. I'll be more than happy to try and put it into my schedule. I've just filmed a ton of videos, so I've just been scheduling them. I usually upload every Sunday at 12 noon, so check out, subscribe to the channel, and every Sunday at 12 noon it will alert you to let you know that I have a new video that's coming up. And if you have a particular recipe that you would like, or a particular vegan restaurant you'd like me to review, or a particular vegan product, then by all means let me know, and I'll be more than happy to do that. So if there's any more questions, please keep them coming. We've got about 2 more minutes left, so I can take 2 more questions. So if you've got any more questions, please come as quickly as you can. I'm just seeing what questions I've got down here. Let me just find one more. Yes. It's, if we all went vegan, all the animals would die out. Well, that's not quite a question. I guess that's more of a statement. So we need to keep the questions relevant. Oh, Unicorn Girl, what is the best vegan birthday cake? Well, Unicorn Girl, are you in the UK or in the USA? Whereabouts in the world are you? Let me know so I can recommend. If it's shop bought, or let me know. Do you mean shop bought or one to kind of make yourself? Let me know which of those you mean. But in terms of birthday cake, if you like lemon cake, there's a video on my channel called How to Make Lemon Drizzle Cake, and that makes a really amazing cake. that is really good. If it's a shop bought cake, it depends where in the world you're located. But I think anything that's really sweet and delicious and not too difficult to make. In terms of other birthday cakes, I would say a red velvet is always nice and it looks really pretty. Chocolate, it's easy to make. I've got like a chocolate brownie recipe that you can make it into a cake as well. Anything like that, that it looks pretty and it's got a really rich taste as well. So we're almost out of time. Thank you so much for watching and everyone who's tuned in, and thank you for all your wonderful questions. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you have any comments, please comment in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.